Okay, let me turn on the, okay, there you are. Good morning, it's May 8th, 2021. This is the Operations Committee. We're meeting at 9:30 to 10:30. And we have our two, Patty and Maureen and myself as our total committee. And we're all here. So let's launch into our agenda. Is there, excuse me, we want to go to the minutes first. Have anybody read
Agenda.
May 1st, 21 minutes
Move that we approve the minutes.
moved? And
I'll second.
second it. And all in favor say yay.
Yay.
Yay. And
Yay.
it's approved. So we'll jump right into our main topic, which is advocate statement. And thank you, Maureen, for jumping in and doing this. You did, I think, a fabulous job of melding those two different thoughts of the records clerk position as well as
You know,
advocate.
I don't know how this is going to go over.
Yeah, I don't either. So let's take it apart and see what we think about it.
Okay.
My first comment is after reading what our clerk wrote about her job. Did you recently we read all that? I was like, oh my gosh, we're asking her to do, or him, with whoever's in that position, to do even more.
No, the county clerk is a different position.
Yeah,
than this.
entirely.
No, but weren't we asking this person, this job to be, weren't we suggesting that it be included with the county clerk?
No,
No,
Oh, who are we going to put this one on?
the public records girl.
The public
Ellie
records.
Robson.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Ellie
you.
Robson.
Yes. It's been a while since I reviewed it again, but I read that from the county clerk because I thought, oh, that's where we were going to put this job. Oh, we can't do that.
No,
Public
no.
records.
We
Good.
couldn't do anything
Saturday-
with hers.
Saturday morning.
It's okay. It's okay. Dry shampoo again this morning. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
How busy is the public records clerk? I mean, I think a lot of people in the CRC may not know about this position and probably want to explore it a little bit more.
So my understanding, well, first of all, they hired a person to do this because about the time that I left, after I was out of there, the public records requests started to go crazy. Like people like Ed Kilduff and John Genich, they bombarded, and there was a lot going on. The Blanchards and Peg Manny, they did a lot of public records requests, and it was so utterly burdensome that they finally decided to have a person do it. And I suspect she is probably, it comes and goes, it ebbs and flows.
Uh-huh.
I don't think she's constantly busy at all.
Is it a full-time job?
Yes,
Okay.
Wow.
or at least she's in there full time.
Okay.
As far as I know.
Yeah. Well, then I think this is an appropriate place for it. As a suggestion, I mean, the full commission may decide differently.
Well, we did this only to avoid adding another position.
Of course,
I didn't think
of
that
course.
was appropriate. And
Yeah.
this, and I don't know, I have a feeling they're going to throw this out because they really wanted a hired gun. They wanted a gunslinger.
I think you're right. I mean, that's the take I got from the interview with the Snohomish County executive and the afterthought of some of the committee people. I too had the same kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the, there's a word there, how people feel about there being enough to investigate, because that seems to be the side of the position that the people you're talking about were wanting, problems to come up and to be investigated, and whistleblower action and things like that. And yes, there always will be that, but does this county have that much to make a full-time position for only doing that? and I believe that there's a need for this other one, but the other side of it, introducing the public to the county, because hey, I didn't know anything about the county before I started this, and there's a whole heck of a lot there, and people come in not knowing where to get their information, and even with the website, you don't know necessarily how to get it. So I think that side of it is needed almost more than the whistleblower side,
whistleblower,
but
mhm.
I don't know that it's a full-time position for either of those.
Yeah.
That's my thinking.
Well, I think when we present this, we're going to have to try and sell it as a combination. And remember, whoever put this on the list wanted an elected person to be this. And it's just crazy to me that they
Yes.
so many requests for elected officials to do work
Yes.
like this.
I know,
You
Is
got-
out of order. People that don't understand what our government does.
yes,
You have to remember that these things came at the very beginning of the process, and people put things on the list that they thought might be helpful, and they didn't know that much about it. And we're going back to something that has been on there by somebody, and we can't second guess necessarily how they're feeling about it now after learning more about everything that we all have. So things evolve.
But I think we need to make a statement when we report this to say that we as a committee, as a team, just didn't feel it was ethical or morally responsible to make this kind of position elected. So
Oh.
we completely dismissed that right off the top.
well, and of course, we don't mention this in here, and unless somebody brings it up from CRC, I wouldn't go with it and just simply talk about what the position is, and how we see it being housed,
And
and just wait
Marty-
and see somebody makes a big deal out of it, and then we'll have to address it then. Yeah, Patty?
why are you thinking that it's morally bad to make it elected as opposed to appointed?
I think elected has been tossed around in a very naive way by this commission. A lot of the commissioners just think all these positions should be elected. And it is a nightmare to think of adding electeds to the system that is already burdened with a lot of electeds.
So my question about that, I mean, I understand that, but this particular position, for somebody to come in, they wanted it elected because then it would be more responsive to
To the
the
people,
public and all
Yeah.
that, rather than being appointed and being under somebody. There's a lot of thinking about different things, and as I said, when these were coming up as ideas, nobody was thinking about expense necessarily. I mean, these were just ideas, and we were brainstorming ideas. And so somebody came up with this idea. And the reason they wanted it elected is because they wanted it to be accountable to nobody but the public. It's a big burden to put on the county for another elected position. I totally agree. So, but they came, it's not an immoral kind of thing. It's, the county.
Well, it
doesn't
is to
need
me.
it anymore.
It is to me, and I'm just thinking, what if this was elected and this person had a vendetta against somebody that was making a complaint? I mean, the way this could go south is so serious.
yeah,
If the wrong person ever took that.
Then you go back to our elected process of recall and all that kind of crap. I mean, I don't operate out of fear. I don't think that there is that much anger. I know there's a lot of anger, but I don't think it needs to push us forward in anything. And so to be worried about, I don't really think that we're going to have an elected separate position for this. That's just my recommendation is not to make this a separate position. I don't think it's a full-time position. And even if it was an elected half-time position, I mean, that's something. But to think about all the problems that, oh gosh, if you elected somebody with a vendetta, I mean, that can be anything.
Well, look, Patty, when you're writing things like this, you have to think of the reasons. You have to be able to defend what we're doing. Somebody put this in with a slant. We have changed that slant. We have to defend it. So you have to look at all those things and you have to be able to have discourse about it.
Mhm.
And it can be outrageous because that goes completely to the other side. And then you bring it back to the middle, which is what I think we did.
Yeah.
Right,
But you got
right.
to be able to say all that.
So
But
I-
I don't think you want to, I guess the word that you used about immoral is not something you're going to want to use in a discussion, because that is very pejorative, and you just don't want to use that word, because it wasn't an immoral thing. Nobody came from there. And I know it was probably an accident you even came out with it, but I just want to caution you, no.
It's a passionate way of saying I'm against another elected.
Right, right. So say it another way.
Oh,
Well, it's good that we talked about this, even though I don't think we should present it that way to the CRC. We just present it as it is and
Yeah.
and go with it. If it comes up, we'll say that we think it should be part of the appointed positions and can be worked in with the public records clerk, and it'll work fine. So I think we should go with it. Do you want to read it? Do you want to go through the detail of it, or do we feel comfortable the way it is?
if you feel we should, and if there's any word changes you want to make, that this is the time.
Yeah. So the last sentence is where you get into any kind of situation where we're talking about complaints. Before that, we talked about, accessibility to the county and et cetera, et cetera. But it seems to me it's really the last sentence where we talk about somebody that can also take complaints about the departments, et cetera. But we need to have that in there. I'm not
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
we shouldn't.
Definitely.
It's just,
I think this is a really good description of what we think this position should
yeah,
be.
yeah, I agree. So the way it's worded, I don't have any problem with it. Does anyone want to talk about any particular areas of sentences or anything?
I like it.
I do too.
Okay.
So
So let's make a motion.
let's make a motion. Let's do. Do you
I
wanna make-
move that we accept the language for a public advocate as laid out. And we recommend this to the full council.
I second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, it's carried. So it is now one of our, I call it planks. So having said that and accepting it as it is, no changes. Do we want to talk a little bit about how we want to see that in the priority task list? And who would like to speak for it?
Well, I think it's really our last task that we need to discuss. And I think as lead for this committee, I would like you to be the person to speak it.
Pardon me?
As lead of this committee, I'd like you to be the person to present it.
Oh, this one? And the,
And do we really have any more on our task list?
well, the only other thing that I failed to do was number 5 and 6, which I think we need to bring back up again because it wasn't stated.
Oh, okay.
Why
Remind
didn't we?
me.
Why didn't we look into those situations? And the first one, number 5, it appears to me that that's already covered in the personnel manual, right?
Right. We said that.
And then in number 5, or excuse me, 6.
No, a 5, we agreed to say that it was our understanding that was being handled by another committee.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't have them in front of me. So say what 5 was?
Evaluate and potentially expand employee evaluation / satisfaction process for county manager.
Right, right.
And governance chose to not do it either.
So we're not bringing it forward. If they want to bring it forward, they can. But we're not, we're not bringing that forward.
Right.
Okay, and that's the reason why. So number 6,
Is,
Evaluate departmental / employee satisfaction of current chain of command protections from executive pressures.
right.
maybe that's something that
That's a
could
little,
be.
yeah, that can be a little amplified a little bit.
Well, I
I
think the
think
reason we came up with not pursuing that is we said, I wrote these notes from when we last talked about it. We said that after our meeting with James Wolfe, we believe that there's enough policy and procedural guidelines in the personnel manual to help anybody navigate their
And,
issues with a supervisor or an executive.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay,
And then there was number 7, which was the salary issue, which I think we
Oh.
need to conclude with just the
Good
point.
sentence that the Citizen Salary Commission has taken action and increased the electeds, therefore we have no further need to pursue that, which is what we said.
yes, so we've dropped that.
So I'll write 5, 6, and 7 in just like we just said, okay?
Sure. And do you want to add a little bit on like why we are not discussing those like we did in number 5 and number 6 as well?
Well, because the Salary Commission has made their decision.
Well, number 5 and 6 only. I don't think we have to go to 7. I mean, the salary situation.
Oh, you want to drop it?
Mm-hmm.
That's fine with me.
Well, it was really my effort to have it included, and I'm willing to drop it now that we have a salary increase.
I think they would like that. I think they would like to not hear that.
Yeah, I think it's best if we just not bring it up.
Okay, good.
Unless CRC commissioner brings it up and wants to understand why we didn't
Well,
bring it further.
It is something that it might be good for them to know, just for them to know that, hey, the county is going to have to come up with more money even without us just to pay these increased salaries, which they should be doing. So anyway.
It looked like the salary increase was about 6,000 for each of the 4 electeds.
Yeah, it's not that much, but
Yeah.
Wait a minute, it went from 97 to like 113?
yeah.
That's 10,000 per
Right,
person.
right. It was as much as 10,000. Yeah,
So it's more
depending
than
on the
that.
position.
So it's going to cost the county under 100,000 to,
Yeah.
It's something they should be doing, but it's just one more.
Well, let me ask you.
Oh, yeah,
this.
you're right. It was 16,000 each. Yeah.
16 each, yeah.
thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I got my
Okay.
6s. I got my 6s.
Sixes.
So this was not on our task list. It was something we
Okay,
became aware
yeah.
of in the course of it. So I think people have added on to their lists as well.
Sure.
So Paul, how would you like to take it? Would you like to drop it or would you like to make a statement?
Well, I think we probably should make a statement. What about you folks?
I think you should make the statement. I don't think it's controversial. I think you should just make the statement because we have brought to the council the fact that the salaries were so,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
All right. How about, I'm writing this down as we say, we explored the disparity between department
elected.
heads and electeds
Mhm.
salaries.
Yep.
And
Right.
elected. And during that discussion, the Citizen Salary Commission met and agreed to increase the elected salaries effective May 21.
Yep.
And
And
let's leave it at that. We don't need to get
Leave
into
it at that.
numbers.
we don't need to mention that how much unless somebody asked, and then we can always.
Exactly.
I think Kevin knew. I spoke to him the other day and he knew. So he had obviously talked to somebody and they'd given them the facts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just a follow-up on something that we brought up before.
Okay. 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 So I'll redo the summary.
Okay.
We're gonna have to go through this because we have not had any votes on any of these.
Oh,
So they're gonna make us do a full report again on this, even though we gave a report already.
yep. Yep. So can we do that now with the ones that we've already agreed on?
I think you're ready to make a full report if they want to take it from there.
We've already, oh, why do I not have? a
They
copy?
could have voted when you made your report before, Maureen. They could have voted, but they just weren't quite ready to act yet. It took
That's
them
right.
another week before they got the mindset.
Yeah, you're
So,
right.
But
You're right,
what
exactly.
you did was good and could be repeated and they could vote from it.
Okay, well, I just did the ones that, I did the
Yeah,
public records,
right.
and
I
all
mean,
that
we
stuff.
fill
And-
out everything, but they're ready now.
I need to get a copy out so that I can be sure. Either that or we'd have to meet again and go through this.
Oh, heck no. Not that I don't love meeting with you guys, but Saturday morning.
So to make it clear, Maureen, you think we need to have a motion on each one of these?
No, we've already moved on them.
Yes, for
The
the
only
public.
one missing was the public advocate.
Yeah,
Right.
And we just done that, so I
Yeah.
don't see that we're lacking in here.
okay.
We have added language to the personnel manual. And we've voted on it. Public records, we voted on. We just voted on the public advocate. The anti-bullying thing, that's another one. I don't know where that's I don't know what they're gonna do with this. And then you're gonna speak, Paul, to 5 and 6, and I'll write you out the findings that we just discussed.
Sounds good.
And we're gonna just give a sentence on 7, which says we explored the disparity, boom, and we're done. Okay,
So the ombudsman's going to be where? It's gonna
number
be
3,
You leave it at number 3 then?
yeah.
Okay, as it was.
And
Okay.
I'm going to write it in as ombudsman or ombudsperson,
Yeah,
Person,
and
now called.
now referred to as public advocate.
yep.
Okay,
So.
so I'll put our vote in and then that's it.
Yeah, love it.
Well, I'm finding that things that I thought would not be of issue, I was totally wrong about. People are heated
Right.
about certain things, and we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's
And-
a vote yes.
We'll just see. So I think that, thank you so much for having done that. And like I say, I don't want to be the person to present this. I know Maureen did a great job for those others. And if Paul doesn't want to present anything, Maureen can do it all, or Paul can do it all.
No,
Okay.
everybody has, don't you have one in here, Patty?
Not anymore. I mean, I did, and I presented it. It was the public advocate, and now it's different. But I prefer not to be the one to pursue what we've done, just because we've done it good, and I don't want to be the one to bring it up forward.
So would you like to do the public advocate?
You asking me? I
Uh-huh.
just said I don't want to.
You don't want to do that? Okay.
Right.
I
Well,
don't know when we're gonna be scheduled. Does anyone have an idea?
no, I don't even know if Kevin has an idea.
Well, aren't we meeting next Wednesday and Thursday again?
Yes.
I would bet we're gonna be on one of those days. I think,
Alright.
but I'll tell you what, I just talked to them and the climate environment thing is gonna be on this next week.
Oh, that's going to be a hot one.
And that's just gonna take a lot of stuff.
Yep, it is.
And I don't know what's happening with the right of nature. I can't figure out.
I'm
what-
working on that with the committee this afternoon. I mean,
Oh,
we're
okay.
really getting together, and it's like,
Okay.
oh my God. So, yeah.
Are
it's-
you on the calendar for next week? I Presentation?
remember a week ago, Bob said something about we need to present in 2 weeks, so I don't know quite what that means. So, but we're getting together in a work session this afternoon.
Good.
Yeah, it's huge. So
It's very big. And I have to tell you, I admire him so much. He's a funny guy. And he says he slides around with his views on things, but he's so smart and he really works hard.
everybody on that committee works hard, and it's really nice, not nice. It's interesting to see the 2 lawyers they both are fantastic, fantastic people. And they come at it with different experiences of the law. And they both agree in the same kinds of things, but they have different ways of saying how they agree. And they're just fantastic people. But what's hard is that those lawyers with the law background are tied to what the law has been, because that's what lawyers do. And all the people are sort of coming up with, oh yes, that's the law. And the law says you can only regulate people, and you can't recognize environment as being a person or a thing, because that's what, corporations are. But so you got to be really careful and not have something that will go to court and be shot down. And yet the public and everybody is coming the other side saying, hey, it's time for us to do this recognition, even though it's not in the law. Let's bring it forward and see if we can't put it in the law. So it's a really interesting discussion, really.
Well, I thought it was going to be easier. I thought
Oh
that
my
there were
God.
enough states that had this kind of language in their own constitutions that could be amended to fit ours.
Yeah, no, there's like two, and to compare it with what our state has, and we have to go by what's in the state. But, and so the lawyers are saying, well, this has to be Olympia that does this. And, but at the same time, we want to put something down that maybe the argument for making language that tells people what they need to do with the environment, as one way, because the environment counts so much and because it should be recognized as an entity. But anyway, we're still talking about it, and oh my God.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why I'm sorry. I've been really concentrating on that side of things, and I hadn't reread our public advocate thing. And yes, the records person is the perfect place. I don't know why I thought of the clerk.
Oh, it's okay. It's all running together at this point, all the committee stuff.
Yeah.
And that's part of, I felt myself being exhausted this last week, just tired. All the mental work is just physically tiring me. So I'm going right to my garden after this meeting and
Good for you.
getting some strength from my lettuce.
Yes.
I'm going to run to the farmer's market, and then I'm going to come back and prepare some more for this afternoon.
Good. Well, I want to thank both of you. It's been a pleasure to work with you, and maybe even AAA, just to get to know you.
I know, it's so great.
I thank you both very much. It's been a really excellent experience.
Yeah, it has been.
And speaking to that, I am hoping that once everything dies down with COVID, that we can get together and actually meet in person, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Have a cup of wine and say cheers.
Yes.
Lovely thought.
Okay.
Okay.
Shall we end
Well,
it here?
pardon?
Shall we end it? Let's
end it.
Thank you. Have a great
So
day.
we are adjourned.
Perfect. I'll stop the recording.
Okay.
See you soon.
See you Monday, Paul.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.